best and worst thing about writing is there's no way to know how to do the next thing. Telling myself I'm not really writing at all, I'm just kind of playing around, I'm not working, is useful for short-circuiting a certain set of neurotic inclinations, even though it means that you end up writing a lot about neuroses. But I'll find that I'm kind of writing in tercets, or I'll find that I'm kind of writing with a certain kind of syntactic rhythm. And then I'll like make a rule out of whatever has started to emerge. So then it's like, okay, now I'm writing in tercets, or now I'm writing with a certain kind of sentence rhythm. So like I take something that's kind of a glitch and I make it a feature, and then that allows me to go on. It gives me an architecture to kind of wrestle with. I don't have any abandoned novels because I didn't write or aspire to write a line of anything I thought of as fiction until I was writing Leaving the Atocha Station, and even then I was like telling myself I wasn't writing fiction, like this is something else. I thought novels that were about events and poetry was an event. And of course that's a totally false dichotomy, but somehow in order to think of myself as a poet, I thought of myself as a poet in opposition to this thing called fiction writing. From both novels there were kind of fully written elements of the work that were cut. You know, Leaving the Atocha Station had a kind of, where it had these poems that the narrator had written, the chapbook, the novel ends with him publishing this chapbook of poems in translation, and I wrote that chapbook of poems. Are they good in a way that makes him no longer seem like a fraud, or are they bad? And I wanted them to be kind of undecidable in their quality, but it was too hard of a gesture to manage. It was just too, you know, I would show the poems to certain people and they would be like, these are your best poems, and then I'd be really depressed, or people would say like, well, what about editing the poems? And like I couldn't figure out how to write the poems that would do what I wanted them to do for the fiction. The confusion was too intense and threatened to mess up the ending of the book, the tone I wanted the book to end on. But I haven't used any, they're not good poems. I guess I would say that most of the books I've written are the result of starting some other project and not being able to finish it in one way or another. If I know too much about what I want to do in a piece of writing, it will be a failure in an uninteresting way. It will be like merely a failure. It won't be a failure that's like involves a glimmer of possibility. It'll just be, it won't have life in it.